Gotcha. Okay, so back on the nutrition topic, macronutrients. So I always hear like gym bros saying that they have to get their macros in. I need to try and pay more attention to my macros. What are macronutrients and why are they important to the youth athlete?
Yeah, so there's three different macros. So we have protein, carbohydrates, fat. All of them play a role in our bodies. So carbohydrates and protein are less dense than fat. Carbohydrates and protein provide 4 calories per gram, whereas fat provides 9 calories per gram. If you're a numbers person, I hope that makes sense. And then the biggest difference between them, and I'll explain each one in depth here, is so carbohydrates. Basically, we want to think of those as our energy fuel, our quick source of energy that we're going to need during our workouts. It helps fuel explosive activity. Think about sprinting, changing direction, lifting weights.
Mhm.
All of that is carbohydrates. Our brain primarily uses carbohydrates for fuel. And so that's carbohydrates in a nutshell. Carbohydrate foods are things like your fruits, your vegetables, whole grains are what's recommended. And then really when you get down to it, things like sweets are carbohydrates as well, but those are things that we want to limit in our nutrition.
Mhm.
Um, and then that's the bulk of carbohydrate. Protein foods are what help build and restore your tissue. So I always say think of protein as those muscle building components, but beyond that, it's also building and restoring tissues. Especially if you get an injury, proteins are what's helping build those tissues back up, and helping you recover. Different protein foods, you think of dairy products, so milk, cheeses, um, you know, meats, that's a primary one, poultry. If you don't do dairy or meats or poultry, and you're vegetarian or vegan, beans or legumes, nuts and seeds are a protein source. And then things like soy, tofu, tempeh, all of those are really great sources of protein as well. And then your fats are really what help cushion our vital organs. They also help, the right types of fats help decrease inflammation and are really important for healing. And so when we think about fats, the the healthy fats are the ones we want to include more of are things, again, nuts and seeds. So nuts and seeds are both a protein and a fat. And then also our oils, so things like olive oil, avocado oil, walnut oil, all of the oils. And then also, if you do like grass fed beef or butters, those are a good healthy fat. Fatty fish, so things like salmon, mackerel, tuna, um, sardines, all of those are really high in healthy fats. And then when we talk about unhealthy fats, my best example is when we get like a big steak with the marbling in it, the white component of that is called saturated fat. And the saturated fat is something we want to decrease in our diet overall. And just because it causes inflammation in our body. And so any inflammation in our body base is not good. And so it can cause things like chronic disease or lead to injury, things like that.